I think there are certain messages in those movements. Okay. There are also certain predictabilities in time as well. So those are things we'll be diving into a bit later on. First, just to finish the summary, why not the pound dollar? Well, reading this pattern that I'm talking about is not an easy task. First of all, you do have some certain news events that sometimes distort the pattern as well, as Daniel was saying. It is, of course, you have to be a fast-paced decision maker. So if you're someone who wants to take more time with your analysis, then don't trade these shorter time frames. So that's just probably a message for all currencies that you want to intraday trade. But anyhow, the pound dollar does like to spike a lot, so decision making has to be fast, little time to think. So that's the reason why you maybe not want to do it. If you're someone who likes sustainable moves slowly but surely, then the pound dollar might not be for you, because it does tend to spike up and down before settling down towards a direction. So it's good for a trader if you like volatility. It's not so good if you like sustainable, slow types of moves. Then you might better trade the Australian dollar on a 1-hour chart, for example. That could be maybe a better currency for you than trading GU for on a 5-minute chart. Let's see, the last point, what did I write here? Having knowledge of long-term importance. Yeah, that's true here too, because you're going to have choppy moves in some sessions, and the trick is to really avoid those choppy sideways movements, because that's where you're going to sustain you could sustain some losses there. So having an eye on the long-term charts to get a feel if there is a potential for that day is important as well. So if you're trading long-term, I think it's a bit easier in a way, because you can only keep an eye on 4-hour day charts and that's it. But I do think that if you're trading short-term, it's good to keep an eye on the long-term as well. Unless you're really scalping 1-minute chart, then it probably wouldn't matter. But this knowledge, what I'm going to transfer to you, is not really scalping 1 minute. It is kind of still picking 1 or 2, maybe 3 good moments to trade, and that's it. So that's what I'll be focusing on. This is not really a scalping strategy, but it could help you with scalping. If you are a scalper, it's probably good knowledge to know what I'm going to tell you, but it's not the underlying idea behind it. Okay? Maybe one day we'll do a scalping session as well, if you guys like. Not that I am a scalper, but I do know a strategy how to scalp. But that won't be explained here. If you like it, let me know. Write down a yes if you would like to see that. Not sure if there's anyone who actually scalps, but let's see. Someone wrote me here, its movement both up and down is far greater throughout the day than over pairs. Yeah, Steve's saying basically that it just moves up and down a lot, but the net result is not much, right? So, basically you get a lot of volatility within the day. So that's good for for intraday traders, because it doesn't go anywhere basically. If you look at the end of day result, kinda. Of course, in some days it does go somewhere, but within the day it does make those moves. Cool. So I already have 7 yeses. So I guess seems to be some interest there. Where did I have a piece of paper here for making notes? So I'll write that down. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, we already decided the topics for April, so it will be the first one in May then. Sorry about the length, but we already decided what will be going on in April already. So this is how the pound dollar looks like, all right? So just to give you an idea what can happen on a crazy currency like this. This is GMT time at the bottom, 5-minute chart. It does this very often. This is GMT time, so let me take a look. I think the open is here. The Asian session, I should have put those lines there. To pity I didn't do that. Somewhere, the first 3 hours is here. You see it goes nowhere. That's the area I was talking about. It kind of makes 2 pushes down, then makes a push up, and then down again. So false move up, false move down, then a huge move down, which actually just is completed in 2 5-minute bars, and that's it. And the rest is just sideways, as you see. And it happens like approximately, let's see, could be news related. Looks like it's with New York Open, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, so it looks like a USD news event that triggered it here. What else can we say? You know, it's very funny how that entire move just happens in 10 minutes, basically. So nothing really more. I just wanted to show you one example before we dive into the material, just like what the pound dollar, what kind of movements it's able to do, and it's sometimes really funny to see that. Okay, let's see. Sorry, just give me 1 second here. I see I have some comments. Okay, someone would like to trade the euro dollar too. Euro dollar is a bit more stable, I think, in trading. You know, once it gets going, it tends to go and keeps on going that direction. I mean, it's not a 100% rule, but it tends to, you know, it's a more stable currency. It's like if you have a 1-hour bar, the next one will probably retrace it and then continue the same way. You know, there's a good chance for that. That's more the euro dollar style. Pound dollar, not really. We'll go into that right now. Alrighty. So this is the first slide regarding you know, the types of move, the characteristics. Okay, folks. So yes, yes, Paul. 5 and 15 minutes are good intraday trades. Yeah, scalping you would want to use 1 minute probably, but yeah. So GU is ranging in the Asian session. As I said, 90% of the time, you know, it doesn't move more than 30 pips. All right. Then what is important with looking at the setup, the structure of the market, is that after 2-3 a.m., basically between 11:30 p.m. and 2:30 a.m. GMT, the range of that day is set. The initial range of the market is set. This is actually for all currencies, so it's not even really GU specific, but the range of the currency is set within those 3 hours of Asia, the first 3 hours. Now, why is that so? Because basically the day just finished. We just had Wednesday, right? Yesterday the day closes, and whatever happened on Wednesday happened on Wednesday. There's a new day with the Asian Open, and the new trading day starts on Thursday. And of course, the boundaries and the lines, the support, the resistance levels, everything that happened, the highs, lows of yesterday are important. I'm not saying. But today is still a new day, and the first movements that the currency makes within the 3 hours tend to be normally a bit tend to make the range, the initial range of that day, the first 3 hours. So you have the initial high, initial low. So if you put a horizontal line on those levels, then you have the initial range of that day. Okay. Then if the currency, the GU, then breaks those tops or bottoms, it happens normally 0, 1, or 2 times of that range. Sometimes it just stays within the range. Sometimes you get a 1 or 2 times break, but usually not more than that. Especially GU, because you know it doesn't break out that often. It's more of a ranging type of motion within Asia, so it usually doesn't break out more than that. The only exception is if there's really a strong, heavy day trend going on. If there's really a huge 240 in a day trend like the GU made, a huge fall there, of course, as we know, I think just a few weeks ago, right now it's pausing a bit, but huge fall to the downside, then there are really exceptions, and in Asia you can see the currency just falling and keep on falling because it's really such a strong trend. But those are really exceptions. Now, let's continue. The GU normally makes false moves before its real attentional moves. All right. The first 2 hours of London Open are really tricky for the GU to trade. It's going to make spikes, ups and downs. So if at anything you avoid, if you're a 1 hour trader and you just avoid trading the first 2 hours probably of the GU, that would probably help you a lot, because before the London Opens, like the first European session hour, tends to make a lot of spikes up and down. The first European hour and the first 2 hours of the London session. Okay, the first hour of the London session actually is used for spikes, false spikes normally. The second hour, it doesn't move too much, the GU, because the crosses are handled. And then the third hour, you see more of an intentional move. That's when the majors are handled again. The majors are more handled at the beginning, at the end of the session, and the crosses more in the middle of the session. All right? So there's a higher chance of a sustainable trend in one direction after you've completed those first few hours. That's first of all the first thing you should, which is good to know. Okay. Let's see. Chances high of market quieting down after London close. Yeah. All right. That's what we already talked about, so we can skip that. We know that once the London closes, the market's going to be more rangy. And actually, after London closes, and you're looking to scalp it up and down, that would be probably the better moment to do it, because after the first 2 hours up to London close, there is a chance that you're going to get an intentional move. An intentional move, just in case you're wondering, is a sustained move in one direction that is a true move of that day. So it's a move that keeps on going in one direction with small retraces, but it's not good for range changing. It's really like a trending mode. All right. Usually it happens once or twice a day, sometimes zero, and it's a sustainable move. So you don't want to be scalping it like up and down in that section, because there is a chance of that sustainable move. Now, when the market quiets down and after London, then there's more opportunity to kind of scalp it up and down. If sometimes New York afternoon also has a sustainable move as well, but the chances are very low, or lower. Let me say it this way: it's all about statistical probabilities. And then buying it, scalping it in that session after London closes or before Asia opens, that makes more sense. Okay, let me see. What would you suggest to do right now? Yeah, right now I would say it's more looking like a sell opportunity, to be honest, Daniel, because in my humble opinion, because although we broke, that was quite tricky today's trading. If you notice the pound dollar, it was in a downtrend. It made a good move down, and what did it do? It just reverses and takes out the top. And to be honest, I didn't trade the GU today because I don't know. I had a second gut feeling that today was not going to be a trending day, and I made some good money yesterday on the pound yen, euro yen fall kind of. Good short trade I took there, so I was happy for the week. And tomorrow is end of month end closure, so I didn't trust the market today somehow. I don't know. It was a gut feeling, and I saw it, move up. It looked like a good short, and it actually went up and took out the high of kind of the high of that hour, and I was like, wow, that was a typical stop hunt, I think, so. But now that we took out that high, I think actually there's more chance of it coming down than going up. So it's more of a short opportunity, in my opinion. I don't know the chart at the moment. Maybe it already moved down, so I'm not sure really what is the current situation. So as I said, I think I already talked about this initial high, initial high and low of the day already. Initial high and low should be monitored. The spike is usually a false move. Okay, there could be two false moves, two spikes basically. If there's one false move already, then there could be another one, and then there's the intentional move. The false move is, what I mean is that it breaks a low, the low of the day basically, and then actually instead of continuing, it reverses, closes and reverses, it goes to the other side. Okay, that's what I mean with a false move. An intentional move is then if it breaks the low, maybe makes a small retrace, but then it keeps on going. Okay. Now this is a good tip here. Pay attention and look at this 30-minute rule. I think that's pretty cool information here. The impulsive intentional move will more or less be, if it's a downtrend, every 5-minute candle, or almost every 5-minute candle, will start making a newer low. All right? You can see every 5-minute candle will have, if it's a downtrend, the candle will make a new low. Now, not every 5-minute candle will do that. There could be one candle that doesn't. But take a look at those impulsive moves, and you will really see something interesting, that it keeps on cutting most of the time. And if it doesn't for more than 30 minutes, then there's a good chance that the intentional move, the trending mode of the session or the day is over, and we go back into a ranging mode. So there's a time factor that's very interesting, 30 minutes. If the currency, however, I didn't have it here somehow, I forgot to mention it, but if the currency, you have an initial low and initial high of the day, and the currency stays under that initial low for 2 hours, then there's a good chance that the downside is true and that we get more continuation. All right? So, no, I'm not showing a chart. Let me see if the next slide is a chart. All right? Market quiets down before funding. Beware. All right? That's the third point you should be aware of, choppiness. All right, here's an example. Sorry. All right, so let's think about those false moves I want to show you, and let's look at the 2-hour rule. All right, so here's an example. Sorry for that. That's always better, the chart, of course. So that's what I have here. So I have here how do you call these? For vertical lines. This is Asian Open. This is 3 hours after Asia. This is European Open, and this is London Open. All right. Now, this is my way of how I intraday traded the pound dollar. So I have here my initial high and low. That's the playing field, basically, the initial playing field. And I have my time factors there. And you get 1, 2, 3 breaks, which is already quite a lot, actually. That doesn't happen too often, but okay. So this was actually quite a big move for the GU in the second part of the Asian session. All right. So I'm not trading in that Asian session, but I'm analyzing it right now. Then we have European Open. We have a first impulse up. We come down, and there's 30 minutes. We haven't broken this low. You can see that. Let's see. Here, every 5 minutes it was cut until we didn't make a new 5-minute low here. Then we made a retrace, and every 5 minutes we make a new low, and then we don't make it anymore. So here we can see that we make a small dip down, false move up, but then actually the intentional side is up. So there could be multiple intentional sides, basically. This is a semi-intentional side because it does make a good run, but in fact, in the grander scheme of things, this was just actually kind of, in a way, a false, true move right there. That's the same power. That's the same slide actually as the one we showed a few slides ago, but now with these vertical lines. All right. So you can see that we couldn't break the bottom here, and that's when we reversed. We used the Asia initial low as a resistance, Asia initial high as a resistance, and then we still pushed up, but then we couldn't double top here, and then we couldn't break, we couldn't continue, and then we went downside. All right. Let me see if I have another example. So we have again the vertical lines representing Asia start, 3 hours after Asia, European Open, London Open, initial high, initial low. Oh, this is the same example. Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, anyhow, small spike, as I said, couldn't break it here. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 candles. Couldn't break this low, so this low is used as a support, and then up we go with a lot of retraces. But every time the currency makes a down move, it finds support, and up it goes to make new highs. All right. Now here we have, let's see, 30 minutes is just a guideline, of course, but you can see that it roughly works pretty well. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth one breaks it. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of like double top, so it's close. Let's see. Here we have a small pause. Here we have continuation, continuation. And then we have here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we have a clear half an hour with an impulse down as well, and that's actually when the intentional move down starts. All right? Alrighty, so some ranging characteristics. It likes when it breaks a top or bottom, you actually want to be very careful because every time it does so, it actually comes down. Even if it breaks this, you see. Now here is a bit bigger move down, but it comes down, breaks top, comes down, breaks tops, comes down, breaks tops, comes down, breaks tops, comes down. So, you know, if a break of the high or low strategy wouldn't be too well because you're actually then doing probably the opposite what the market is doing, because the 5-minute world really likes to make these kind of choppy moves. So when you're breaking a top, that wouldn't be the best to go into that direction. If you want to go to the upside, you would want to wait for a retrace like this to buy and not buy here. Very interesting, and this is really just amazing how often this happens, is that a break of a local which is like a smaller, higher low, is quite often 8 pips. Take a look at that. That's really funny. I don't know why, but it's always almost like very often 8 pips. Really interesting. Other interesting fact is, okay, the spikes can happen often multiple times. We know that. This we know too. Other interesting for the trending mode is that often the one directional move will last approximately 75 minutes, roughly speaking. And it's not always the case, but a really good intentional move could last like that, I noticed. And it usually equals a pip size similar to a fib sequence number like 55, for example. All right, usually after 10 a.m. as we know. Alrighty. False moves normally happen before the Europeans, actually before London open, first hour of European session, before and after fundies session start, last at the session end, London end, 1.5 hours before the end of London. All right, so those are actually like stop hunts basically, where the market is trying to retrace to areas where traders will have their stops, take out their stops, and then continue in the way that the most traders were trading it anyhow. So basically you have these what we have to do is realize that they're intentional moves, smaller stop hunts and bigger stop hunts basically. All right, there are even false moves within week, month, year, days. All right, so it's a very tricky market always. All right, let's see. I already talked about this stuff. The false move, now I already introduced it, is the stop hunt. All right. A fundy, sorry, Philip. Fundy is a fundamental news announcement where there's a high impact expectation. So, for example, an NFP is definitely a fundy. All right. Trading on Friday, no, I wouldn't trade on Fridays. Wouldn't recommend it. It's risky. I would recommend probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Monday. But Monday is already a bit iffy. Only if it was a quiet end of the last week, then maybe Monday. Like this week, Monday we had a good move. Wednesday was a good move. So it's possible, but if normally Mondays are quiet, but this week Monday was a decent movement. A local high, low. Sorry guys and girls. I mean, I just have to quickly show this. What I mean with that is like When the currency retraces like this, this is a temporary high-low, or this is like a temporary high. It's not really a substantial high, but it's just a temporary one. Then we go make a new one. We retrace from there. This is like a very small high. You know, it's just that's what I mean with a local high. It's just a very small one, basically. The GMT times in your notes is the same as the Admiral Markets MetaTrader 4 time. Let's see. Mario, we just are halfway to the session, actually. Yes, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays are the best normally. Not all days will be equally good, but you will tend to have probably at least, you know, a few sessions. If you have London and New York, so there's 6 sessions in 3 days, you know, I would say you'll probably have, you know, a couple that are decent. They're not all 6 are not going to be decent though. So remember that if you already have 2 sessions, 2 good sessions in a week in a row, then the third one is skip the third one because it's not going to happen that session probably. If you have 2 good trading sessions in a row, just skip the next one because that's going to be probably not special, depending on what type of trading you're looking for as well. Yeah, the webinar should be recorded. Yeah, local HL is basically swing high low. I don't say swing because it's so small. That's why I didn't say it. But basically, yes, Andre, you're right. The times in my notes, I'm not sure what time there is. Let me take a look at the chart. Let's see, pound, dollar. Let's see, what time is it now? 17:30. I have 5:30. It's 6:30 here. Wait, is that accurate? Not sure. I don't think it was updated somehow. It looks like my charts are standing still. I can't give you the answer regarding the time. Sorry. You'll have to, the GMT time is just something you have to figure out and coordinate to your own time, all right? It's just, I'm talking about GMT time. Then you have to look up on the internet what GMT time is now and compare it to your chart, okay? Thanks for that. Sorry, thanks for understanding that, you know, otherwise I'm running out of time here. Where can you see the recorded video? If you could write customer service for that, Mario, that would be greatly appreciated, okay? Because I'm not sure, to be honest. Alrighty, let's move on. I don't want to hold up the session here. Alrighty, false move is stop hunt, all right? So you have extended stop hunts that are taking out swing traders' stop losses, but you also have intraday stop hunts, which are looking for stop losses of the intraday traders. And you know, that's when basically the currency moves above the high or below or low for 20 to 30 pips, but then swiftly moves back, you know, within 30 minutes, max 60 minutes, as I said, and you know, then either ranges or then actually goes the opposite side. So those are kind of the stop hunts you have to think of when looking at the market. So I'm just trying to give you an idea how the market is set up. Really, it's set up to, you know, it's not something. It sounds like I'm showing how bad the market is. It's not my intention to do that. The market is the market, but I'm just trying to show you what kind of characteristics it has and how you can profit from that. I don't want to give any negative association with it, you know, with it. So there's a time factor there for 30 minutes, and if it moves quickly, speedy back to its range, then now is a false stop hunt. And if it does stay a prolonged period of time, then the likelihood of an intentional move in that direction is getting higher, and it could be so that it's not a stop hunt but actually an intentional move, all right, and then the currency could keep on going. So that's basically the main message that I want to give here is the false move versus intentional move, all right? As I said, extended stop hunts also for long-term charts are valid too. already. So here's an example of, let's see, a while back in June. I already had this prepared here. You can see same lines basically. This is, I don't have the 3-hour line, somewhere in here. Anyhow, this one had a small break here. A break is what I consider a close of a 5-minute candle above that level, at least by a pip. You know, I have to define it somehow. That's what's my definition. So this is not what I wouldn't consider a break, because it's just a wick, for example. And what you get here is, let's see, a move up. We use the same high and then a continuation. But you can see after this pretty decent move, which is an intentional move, but it could be an extended stop hunt on a higher time frame basically as well. And this could be then the intentional move for that higher time frame. And you can see that this intentional move was very fast. It was like 1 hour 15 minutes approximately. It was every 5 minutes the candles were cut. You see, so this is actually the intentional move. This is kind of like a stop hunt. Maybe there's some resistance here and stops are put there. You can see also that the 30-minute rule didn't work here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had half an hour and we didn't break the high. So we did move somewhat down here, as you can see. But then we did find support close to the initial high there. And we kept on moving up. Broke this one again. And then we couldn't break this high for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half an hour. We actually go longer sideways, and then that's when we started to make a default. Let's see, anything else that seems interesting on this chart? Let me see. Um, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10. Yeah, it's like an hour that we stay above this initial high. So it's not optimal, but it's still decent. So if you get a break of this high, because we already kind of stayed up above this initial high that long, you know, we do get a sustained move here for some bit. All right, and then the actual intentional move. So this is a semi-intentional move in the sense that for an intraday trade, it is it has the intention to go up for a decent move, but it's probably a more stop hunt for higher time frames. Alrighty. Let me take a look at the current charts now. What kind of reward to risk am I suggesting for intraday trades? If you get a 2-to-1, I think it's already pretty decent. A 3-to-1 is really awesome, I think. You know, 1.5-to-1 is really pretty decent as well, I think. Even 1-to-1, but you know, not less. I wouldn't go less. But if you get 2-to-1, you're really doing pretty, you know, decent, nice job there. Let me see. Pound dollar, where is it? Take a look at this week's charts. Not sure. All right, I want to get, I don't know, I thought this was different. Somehow the settings are different. It's black. It's not so good. Let me quickly, I thought it was already prepared, but let me quickly make it a different color here. Full candle. I don't think my charts are not being actualized somehow. I don't know why. It is current till like the top that I was talking about here, as you see, We made a strong move down, and then we still went up to get this to go up here. We made a, this is all set for downside here. We have lower lows, lower highs, and we made a impulse move down, but then we spike up to take the stops here. This is definitely an intentional stop hunt right there. But somehow I lost the feed. I don't know what happened there, but okay. Let's take a look at the 5-minute world this week. Alrighty, this is 24th of March. So first of all, you can see Asia session going sideways, 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 all the way to, this is Monday, all the way here to the European Open, more or less. Before European, we get a first move down. Every 5 minutes, the candles are broken. So, and then we get, let's see, 2, 20, 30, 1 hour, 15 minutes, no more. We get, let's see, this is, I think, at least 2 hours of price action staying under this low. So, this is not only a stop hunt here for taking out these lows here. This is more of an intentional move. You can see from here to here, right? So that's when we get a first impression that it could be the intentional move is down, which indeed does happen. Then we get a break of the bottom. What happens when a break of the bottom? Well, we get a retrace. That happens too. The break of the bottom is 152.09. It's a little bit of more here. A break of 6 pips, we do get a small retrace, but it just continued. But then we get a bigger retrace. You can see that this down move, every 5 minutes more or less, the candle gets cut. The move down was more or less 1 hour 15 minutes and was exactly 36, approximately 45 pips. After some retrace, we see here that we couldn't break the low after half an hour, so we make a bigger correction. But once we start to make lower lows like this, we start to make one more intentional move to the downside. Lows every time being cut, every half hour, and let's see, this was a bit longer move. This took like a few hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, something like that. And a decent drop there of some 60 pips. So that's approximately what you can expect. And after that, the market goes into consolidation. No. Sorry, I lost my charts. Okay, they're back. Good. Cool. All right, so the market goes into consolidation, and that's when when you can actually, if you're more of a, this is in that case the intentional move. So you really want to be taking shorts in this direction, right? But once you reach here, that's when the market is closing or range bound more or less. There's something wrong with my feed because the time is totally not matching. I don't know why. Sorry about that, folks. Or no. Okay, no, it's fine. Excuse me, I was wrong. I thought I saw something strange there, but it's okay. It seems to be okay. Sorry. In any case, that's when you can actually speculate on moves that are ranging bound. But be careful because this can happen as well. This is the entire New York session. It goes nowhere basically. So not much space there. Really only a few pips up and down. So not much there. But yeah, not much really to do there. All right, next day. We're going to Asia session. Let's see. This is before Asia, before Europe opens. We got a spike up. We got a move down. Let's see, where does Europe open? Let me put a line there. That's London, I think. if this is GMT time. I hope so. Alrighty. So basically here we make a quick move down back into the range. So that shows us that this is something different today. We're not staying above that initial high. As you can see, we still make a false kind of one more spike up, but then it's the intentional side is downside actually. So this was then a false spike up. We can see a move up, but it comes quickly down. So that's the intentional move. But before we move down, we still make one more spike up. And more or less then after that, we make newer lows consistently, except here the rule is not perfect. We do make a bit longer pause there, but then we still keep going here with cuts every 5 minutes with the low. And then we start to make a bigger consolidation period. So that was the trading day. You see, there's not much what happens in the trading day. That's all for the trading day. Then we go again into consolidation, right? As you know, somehow these candles look funny to me. I don't know, but maybe it's just me. Here, again, consolidation. Then we have, again, a spike, but we come down quickly before London opens here. Let's see how long that took. Yeah, we couldn't break this high. And when we couldn't break the high, there was resistance, and we actually do the opposite, as you see. Let me see where the Asian session exactly was. Right in here. Yeah, so you want to be careful because this was a decent period of time above it. Let's see, 1 hour, but we never broke this. First of all, it's not 2 hours, first of all. Second of all, we never closed above it. So if we would close above this and then hook back, that would be actually the moment you probably would want to buy. We never closed above it. Second of all, we never made a new high for a very long time. It was just, we did stay kind of half above this zone, but half we didn't. So, this was not an intentional move. This was the false move and the down move. Once we start to make this, you can see we're cutting, and we make a move for 80 pips. Then we go to sleep again, nothing to do there. And today was really a lot of false moves, to be honest. Today was very tricky day because let's see. Here I already was. I didn't trade today, but I already knew that this was going to go down because we didn't break this high. For a while, this was going to. I already knew that this was going to go down, and up to correct this down move, but it wasn't going to break this top because it took too long. I thought personally that this was the false spike up and the intentional move would be down, so this looked like a great sell, but actually it was just a small move down. I thought it would be a continuation. We didn't get that continuation because of the higher time frames. I thought that. Let's see, anything else to say on this chart? Otherwise, let's see, we made another false spike. This was a nice move down with, again, we couldn't break the high here 30 minutes, and then we kept on breaking the lows for 5 minutes, every 5 minutes, and when we couldn't break the low for half an hour, that's when we actually started to make the opposite. And I think that this was an intentional stop hunt because it just kept on pushing here upside, while downside was quite logical. So anything else I want to say here? Let's see. We have some questions. Let me go back to the PowerPoint now. Let me take a look quickly how many slides I need to show still. Not that many. That's good. How much time? 7 minutes left only. Okay. So we have some questions. Let's see. What's your average win ratio with 2 to 1? Let's see. Well, if if I get 50 to 50%, 40%, that's already, that's good stuff already, to be honest, because this is tricky trading. What I try to do is find the most logical spots, like this one. I'm almost like 80% sure that it's not going to break this one. So if I take a sell in here and I put my stop in here, then I already have a 2 to 1 when I break this bottom. And it broke the bottom, by the way, by, what I would be looking for if I would be intraday trading this and not looking at larger time frames, I'll be looking for an 8-pip break of this bottom, which is 41, right in here, because then I know that there's a high chance of reversal, even though we could continue after that. So I'm not saying I didn't expect this necessarily, but I know that once we break this bottom by 8 pips, we are going to push up from there, and then it depends. If we break this low quickly within a half an hour, we're continuing. If we stay above there for a while, then we're probably not continuing. So it depends. Then I might re-enter here if I like the setup, but I would take my profit here. So then you got the take profit would be 41. I would enter here at 64, so it's 23 pips. And the stop loss is 63, 77 pips, so that's that would be like a 3 to 1 already there. And it's a high probability, in my opinion, this one. But, sometimes it's less clear and it doesn't work, so, etc. So, but in any case, if you get a 2 to 1 on average, getting, 40% is enough. Yeah, stops indeed, I think are not a good idea, because then most of the time it does reverse. I would wait for that small reverse and see how price action lurks. You could take it on the second breakout maybe. That would make sense. Maybe more sense, but that could make more sense, the second breakout, for example, or take it on retrace. But be careful that the currency will make sure that it does continue fast, because if it takes too long, if it takes half an hour, you maybe just better click it out for break even, if you know what I mean, because then the chances that it's going to take your stop losses is getting higher. What lot size would you recommend for intraday trading? What lot size? Well, I usually take risks. I don't take lot size. I still take risk personally, like a risk percentage. So I was a bit confused there. Sorry. So I just take small risks. I'm talking about tenths of a percentage. Because I tend to take the real risk. I'm more of to be very honest, I'm more of a swing trader. So, or I'm looking for one position. Sorry, that's my mobile. I'm looking for one position, a good position, and then trying to close it within the next few hours. That's more of the type of trader I am. But sometimes I do like these, what I call obvious smaller trades like that. But it's not like I'm buying and selling constantly. Like the example I just gave, this one is a nice example. Sometimes I do take these trades because they're set up so nicely. But I am normally looking for a bit bigger move, to be honest. But because it's so early in the session, I know that there's a lot of things can happen with the GU before it has that intentional move. So anyhow, I lost my train of thought here. What was this question? Yeah, so I use a percentage risk. Sorry about that. I got a bit diverted there. I use a tenths of a percentage, really depending on how I like the trade for that. Okay, let's see. Well, you could use the fibs in a way that, like if you fib this down move, what it just basically says is that you're at a 786, really. All right, so I don't even put a fib on because I already know that we're so close to the top that I don't need that confirmation. I don't even draw it. But that target would be minus 272. It's basically it's just like a fib trade in a way. So it could make sense, but you want to be careful. If you fib this and you put your stop loss here, then you just have a loss, right? So it does depend. You have to know when to use it based on what I use is this information that I'm telling you, but I'm sure there are a lot of other ways to intraday trade the currencies. A lot of people use moving averages and stochastics. I'm sure that many use what do you call it? I forgot the name. Stochastic oscillator, right? To see extremes, so that would help as well. I'm sure. I use or the RSI, for example. But I think that basically what I'm focusing on here is what is the intentional move and the false move, and I'm trying to read the movement of the players in the market. What is their intention, and trying to factor in time, not only pip movements, because I think time factor is important. Alrighty. As I said, you don't see three similar movements in a session. You see max two. So if you see those two in a day, session, week, month, or year, then you're not going to see that third one. The chance is small. Intentional moves, once it has already moved 75 pips, the currency is not likely going to reverse that day. All right? It's probably just going to go to sleep, if anything, and make some small corrections. But it's not going to make a wild close and reverse kind of style. The intentional move is, in a way, slower. It's methodical in a way, like every candle goes down. A spike, a fast move, is often a false move. All right? Let's see, anything else that I want to tell you? All right. Now, here's another example. Let's see. We do stay 2 hours under the initial low. We make a small move back there, but then quickly come down. So once we do that, after seeing that, it's a very nice intentional move. Every 5 minutes, the candle gets broken. Here, there's 1, 2, 3 pause, but then the fourth does break it. Here, there is a bit bigger pause here, right here. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but then the next one breaks it. So it's just outside of our look area, and then here we get 1, 2 at the bottom. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go up. We get, let's see, I think this is an 8 pip break of probably this move here. Anything else to say? Here is just some interesting risk and money management, by the way. Actually, just if you really look at the charts and you would just take a position, just anywhere, actually, this might sound funny, but just take a random guess and say, okay, I'm shorting here, I'm going long, and you actually just use a certain trade management, money management. This is actually a table that shows you that if I used the exact London Open as a measurement. So, it was just at that point in time, I tried to identify what could be the spike, and I just said, okay, now I'm buying, now I'm selling. Only one trade a day, right at London Open. And if you go for, the funny thing is that if you go for a certain reward to risk, if you would go for 28 pip reward and you're risking 13 pips, you're actually profitable in a year. You're actually making a 5% a month. If you are going for like 25 pip profit and you're going for 18 pip stop loss, you are also pretty profitable. So just having a good money management there, or using a mix of those two is already doing pretty well. You can see that it doesn't get profitable when you get going for too high profits, because then the market just doesn't go there and you're getting into negative returns. The grays area are profits, but not that high. And then, the more color, the higher the profits are. So this is the optimal zone right in here, the optimal trade management zone like there. So that's pretty interesting as well. Because the pound makes these moves up and down, basically just taking a trade and using trade management could work decently as well. All right, folks, that's it. It's going to be not easy thing to use for your, as a standalone probably, but what I wanted to do here is show you some interesting psychology behind the market moves. First of all, I wanted to show you time factor elements within the GU and intraday trading, so that if you have a certain strategy that you're using for intraday trading, you can combine this knowledge and optimize your own strategy. If you want to use it as a standalone strategy, as just drawing those lines, that's fine by me. Practice it though. But if you already have your intraday strategy, then this probably would be a great fit to get extra knowledge and benefit from the movement. So just to recap, in my opinion, the most important things are intentional false moves, 8 pip breaks of the lows and highs, be careful of those, time factor, 30 minutes border, and intentional moves will mostly see a 5-minute break of the trend direction. So either continuation of 5-minute highs or 5-minute lows. Just to recap, intentional moves normally are 60 pips. False moves are 20 to 30 pips. You could have 2 false moves sometimes. I think that's about it, folks. That's about the most important sessions. The first 2 hours, you're going to see those ups and downs, and then maybe the intentional moves. Basically, watch out with trading. Don't trade the GU. Basically, in the 18th session, you can scalp probably nicely, range up and down, maybe end of New York, maybe even beginning London. But watch out for the intentional move after that, and the rest of London. Let's see, for those of you who are still here, in any case, I thank you for being here because we're already over time. So I'm going to answer some questions, but if you have to run, I understand, of course. So I want to take the opportunity to thank you for being here and taking time and listening to me, and I hope you learned something. Appreciate that very much. For those of you who still have a few minutes and can look along, someone has a question here about today. About a live chart, London is closed, and about the intentional move. So for those of you who do have an additional few minutes, let's take a look. Let's see. I have a few questions, 2 questions I see. What is a place for longs on the second spike up? Let's see, if it really depends on the structure of the market. But for example, in this case, we're here above the market, right? So, wait, sorry. Let's see, where were we? Here. So what you want to see is actually an 8-pip break, probably, at least, like 57. We should get to 83. And what you want to see is then like 1, 2, 3 candles like this, a close above it, first of all, 3 candles, and then you could probably take it in here. And then you want to see the trade within 50 minutes materialize. If it doesn't move within 50 minutes, just take it off for break even, something like that. So that would be the difference between, you wouldn't want to put an entry order right above the top because you get wicked in and actually bought at the top. So if this would have been a sustainable move, then that's probably the characteristics it would have done, and then continued, something like that. So let me see. There's one more question. is it worth actually trading the reversals as well as moves in the trend direction if you're watching the charts throughout the day? It really depends what, yeah, I think you can trade both ways in my opinion. If the setup is, if you feel comfortable, confident enough about the setup, it is definitely doable to trade it both ways for sure. Sometimes what I sometimes do actually is I sell it here, buy it here, hedge it basically, and then once it makes the bounce, I put this quickly to +1, this to +1, and see what happens then. Now in this case, I'm not sure what I would have done with this scenario, because probably I would have been looking for a 8-pip break. I would have been probably looking for an 8-pip break of this top, to be honest. This one would have gotten taken out for +1, right? So I would have probably wanted to book profit from this high. It's 66. It went to 75, so I would have gotten my 8 pips. And I would have taken profit from the buy here, if you see what I mean. But I don't know. It depends. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll just take profit. I don't know. Or sometimes I would just move this to +1, and maybe in that case today would have been the most realistic, because I really expected a down move here. So, who knows? Let's see. It really depends on the time. The time factor was really early. So if I would have gotten a 3-to-1 trade, then again I would have taken it here. I didn't take the trade, so I don't know. I can't tell you, what I would have, but I did. But I do know that I was thinking that I would sell it here. That was live. How did you get that table together, the money management tool? I actually just made it myself. That was quite a lot of work, to be honest. Probably a lot faster and a more efficient way to do it, but I'm not. I know somewhat of Excel, but I wasn't able to do it in a very fast way. A lot of calculations went behind it, but finally managed to get that done. Let's see. Yeah, so that's about it. So yeah, if you want to write those, that could be worth it. Maybe 28 versus 13 reward to risk, and another good setting is like 23, 22, or maybe even 25 versus like 18 pip risk. Anywhere in there, you can see it's a pretty good zone, or even a 25 reward to like 15 risk. You see, anywhere in this zone, basically, right? So that's about it, folks. As far as I can see, the questions have been answered. Doji right now, I'm quite surprised to see this another up move. Wow. Let me see where the target is. I don't know if Daniel's still there, but he asked me what I would do. Let me see. I'm putting the fibs on here. We went to the 618. So, to me, this looks like a resistance area. But who knows? I mean, they still could even push it further and go to the next target, which would be just 618, 786. If I see a 1-hour reversal candlestick pattern, that would be a good selling point. We could wait. What I would maybe wait for is that there. It seems like the market really wants to push, so maybe we'll get up to this level. I don't know. That's definitely a decent retracement zone already, so maybe this is just a small retracement for a continuation. But don't forget, we're already in New York session, so the currency will probably not do much. I mean, looking at the time factor that we have left, New York and Asia, it's going to give us some consolidation type of form. So I'll see how it looks like when we wake up tomorrow, but I don't expect much movement per se the next 10 hours. Probably I won't be trading anyhow tomorrow because it's month-end closure, and I just want to. I'm satisfied with my profit, so I'm not going to risk that. Let's see, double top tomorrow. Could be double top. Who knows? I mean, this move down has been a lot more choppier than I expected. So the the weakness of the pound isn't as weak as I expected. So maybe you can, as I said, maybe the push-up is more than I think. But still, anywhere in here, I still think we'll make one more move down, in my opinion. But let's see. Alrighty, folks. It's yeah, we had some overtime here. Thanks for being here with the overtime as well. I gotta push off now. I'm gonna have some dinner. I hope to see you next week. We're gonna have actually a guest, well, not a guest speaker, but we're actually gonna be two speakers next week. Tarantula will be my co-host actually, so you'll have double fun, I hope, and you'll have even more experience in this webinar. So European dollar session, Euro USD session, yeah, that sounds good. I'll write it down as well. Thanks for that idea, Yashpal. All right, okay, that's about it. Good training. I wish everyone a good weekend and hope to see you next week. All right, please join us. We'll be the two of us, so I hope you'll make time next week again. All right, okie dokie, folks. See you.
The organizer has ended the session.